Talk about the matchup here this weekend. It's a team that's ranked 21st, but they've had moments where, they're really good and sometimes, so talk about their matchup.
Just older, physical, they're really good on both ends. I mean, Josh Hubbard's one of the best players in our league, 18 a game. I think Cam Matthews is one of the more valuable guys in his leagues. The way he passes, rebounds, he means a ton to him. Toughness defensively. Similar to A&M in terms of older physically, strong, how hard they play defensively. And they got some guys that can really score. Very similar to A&M on a lot of things. That game was a war that those two just played. But you have to be ready for physicalness when you're playing Mississippi State. You got to ready to block out and be on the boards. I think they're doing as good a job as I've seen Mississippi State. I haven't been in their league, but I've always followed them because Chris, the head coach of Mississippi State, was one of my former assistants, so I'm always following them. They're doing a great job on offense. I mean, I'm really impressed with playing after the play. Hubbard never stops moving. He never stops chase actions, repo actions. Really, really works hard without the ball. And that's growth in a player that you can score. The other teams, you're on everybody's scouting report, and you're still working, getting shots, know how to get open when the other team knows you're the number one guy in the scouting report. And he's done a great job of that, Hubbard.
How encouraging was Jeremiah's play the other night, and how have you kind of seen him continue to improve, being guarded by the best players seemingly every night?
It's good for him to see it go in. Just the catch and shoot threes. We really talked with him about getting his feet set and not taking really, really hard threes. And I think he's 4 for 4 off catch and shoot threes the last 2 games. It's the hard ones off the dribble. And he's been good, but it was good for him to see the ball go in. It was good for him to play through adversity. That's the thing that you want with growth. And our whole team needs that, to understand that, we were calling them 4-point and 6-point swings. You make the wrong play or you have a turnover where you could have had a layup and you come down and you give up something. Those are like 5-point swings. And in this run, we've had a bunch of them go against us that we got to be better at. I thought Jeremiah had more of a complete game. He's still growing on the defensive end, still growing, getting the ball moving. But it was good for him to see it go in. He just looked more confident scoring the ball last game.
Kind of on the flip side of that, I know Jalen's been so important to you guys on both ends of the floor, but offensively, when it's been a tough couple games for him, what's important for him to kind of get back to where he's been most of the year?
Just getting his mind and his confidence. The thing with Jalen is he wants to win so bad. He remembers being the last one out when for 4 months they said we were in, or 3 months, and he wants it so bad. And I'm just trying to get him to take a deep breath and play freer. And instead of, you can tell when he's missing shots. But you couldn't ask for somebody like when he's got his mind right and his enthusiasm and his energy. When he's got his energy right, his game's usually right. And we just got to get his mind and his energy right. He means so much to us. He's had so many big games. And he's also got to realize that he can impact us in some other categories that we desperately need. Leadership. Leadership when a run's going against us. He's one of the older guys. He's been here for 2 years. Rebounding, defense. There's some other categories that he can really, really help us besides scoring. And that's also continue to coaching him up on that. Like, man, when you're defensively going great, you're rebounding, you're running the floor. Your leadership, hugging guys up, at a dead ball. You really desperately need that leadership from some of the older guys when adversity hits in a game.
Right, you mentioned his leadership would just help. Maybe tough the last few games have been. You go into a game like this tomorrow. Just how important is it for a guy like him to set the tone coming into a game like this?
Well, we put him in a lot of positions this last couple of days, and especially today, of late game stuff for him. Or he gets it and makes the right play out of the pass. Just where everyone feels comfortable. Spent just a very large amount of time on just confident. And same thing with the other guards. Knowing where to space, where he catches it, cut, space. So that it is. You've got to get so your resiliency back. See, I think what happens in life and in sports, when you go through a run of losing some games, when you go through some hard things in your life, you lose a little bit of your resiliency. Resiliency comes in life through confidence of being resilient, having success being resilient. And there were times where I thought early this year was one of our best qualities. The resiliency when things are tough, we just kept on staying together. And then when you lose some games or some things start to happen and punch you in the face, and you lose a little bit of that confidence, you also lose a little bit of your resiliency in life. And that's what we've got to get back. Because I thought it was such a great trait of this group. And right now, you're seeing when the times to be resilient, like, because I thought we came out, I think we started the game with 5 straight stops against Florida. They hit 2 threes, and then all of a sudden it snuck to like 14. And then all of a sudden we missed a layup, and then all of a sudden we missed a one-on-one, and they scored a basket at the end of the half, and now jumped up to 18 or 20. And it's going like that. So we got to get a resiliency back and get confidence in the concept of resiliency.
You mentioned that resiliency. How do you get that back? Is it an easy formula? Do you remind them of the early season stuff?
Yeah, we do all that. And it's got to be strength in numbers. It's got to be strength in numbers on a team format. If you're playing tennis or golf, it's really an individual resiliency. But since you're a team, we can be resilient, strength in numbers, helping each other through it. Everybody locking arms and pushing through hard. You coach them up. We'll show them time. We show them clips of when we've been resilient, down 13 in top 10 games. And then show them how we could have been better. We could have been better. We take a game before this one. It was the lead was 7, and we just kind of lack a conversation, missed a layup, come back in transition D, follow 3-point shooter, he made it 4. That's a 6-point swing. When you're going in runs, those 6-point swings add up. And so you can show them where we could be resilient with that and then and be better. And my job to keep being resilient on our thing. And how I can be resilient is keeps coaching them up, keeps teaching it, keep pouring into them. They need to see my resiliency and my resolve through this very tough times. That's leadership. Transfer of belief. Believing that this game tomorrow is an opportunity. And I know our opportunities through game by game keep shrinking, but there's a lot still in front of us that we can affect. And that leadership, that's what I told Jalen, is a transfer of belief, man. We can do this. Got to get back to some resilient things, some better basketball, and do this. We have it in us.
Where it's obvious that your guys still believe in what you're doing. After the women's game, I'm walking up the ramp, and I'm pretty sure it's Warren Fears. I think it was Fears on the other end. But they're in there just shooting and working out. Now, I assume you had to practice.
We did.
Day. So they're up there on their own. And so when people talk about, this isn't going well, or, one thing, your team hasn't quit, and they haven't quit on you, that's apparent, right?
100%.
Right.
These guys are putting up extra shots. I took the 3 bigs. Luke, Mo, and they didn't have a particular good game, and they're kind of in a role. I did an individual workout with myself with them about finding their feet, slowing down, and just the film, the extra. Our practice was through the roof energetic. They're trying, even the 2 days going into Florida, and it's been, they're unbelievable young men. We're going through something. And we talked about the only way you come out the other end is staying together, believing, working harder on different things. And I'll tell you what we told them, and I mean this so much. Hope, you got to have hope in life. Everybody's got to have hope, but hope is an outlook. It's an outlook. It's not a strategy. So we've got to have hope, believing in each other, that things are going to get better. That's your outlook. But our strategy is we've got to take care of the ball better. We've got to execute and guard better. We've got to do these things better. That's our strategy, and they're working on that in practice, in extra film. And I think that's what the joy comes through in life, is being successful through struggle. Because they're all struggling. We're all struggling. But man, what we can get out of this if we fight through this hard and come out on top, and we can, and we will.
Talk about putting in the extra work with the bigs. How important is that going to be? You talk about the rebounding strength of Mississippi State for Mo and Sam and Luke to get right, going into this matchup.
I thought, we've got it. Mississippi State does that to you, just like A&M does that to you. You know, Florida, they were second in offensive rebounding, top 10 in the league, and I thought we did a good job watching the tape of boxing out. We got to do it again. We got to box out. We got to go get it. I thought there were a couple times where Jalen Moore just went and got it in traffic. It was good to see his rebounders numbers go up. I think he had 6 or 7, opposed to there was a couple games where he just had 1. He went up in traffic and got it. You've got to do that. Body on body in the SEC, you've got to be able to go up and grab it. And Jalen's one of those guys. Sam and Mo are capable. Luke, they got bodies. It's got to be an aggressiveness to go get it. But also on offense, finding their feet, not getting too sped up. We really worked on finding your feet. What finding your feet means is if you catch a roll, you're not just out catching it and hot potatoing it up. You're catching it under balance. If the guy came over, make the extra pass. If he doesn't, get your eyes up and finish. Just that confidence of finding their feet, slowing down, finishing with some of those bigs. And we've got to get more out of those 3 guys.
Curious about Bryce. Obviously, you had those hot games against A&M. Now you're talking about a matchup that's similar. Is there more you can do to get him involved offensively?
I mean, we have a bunch of actions for him. He knows he's got the green light. We're doing a lot of different things without going in depth about other things. But, talking about some of our guys finding him more. I thought Fears found him once or twice last game. And for him to get his physical defense into the game, really be more physical defensively. But definitely a threat for us. I liked, he took it off the bounce last game. Bryson can do that. But, if you're going through scoring issues, Bryson's a guy that always is a threat for you.